Hello and welcome back to Jazz Bass Secrets. I'm Cyrus Sink. In this lesson we're going to look at the 2-5 progression with a harmonic rhythm of 2 chords per bar with each chord lasting 2 beats. As in this example, in the key of C. D minor 7, G7, resolving to C. We're going to look at using voice leading techniques to develop our 2-5-1 lines. Let's get right into it. The first voice leading formula we're going to use is going from the flat 7th of the 2 minor chord resolving to the 3rd of the dominant chord. As in the key of C, that would be the 7th of the D minor chord would be the note C, resolving to B, the 3rd of the G chord, G7th chord. Let's look at one possible way that we could elaborate that voice leading, and then let's look at how we're going to transpose all of the examples that we're going to work on in the lesson here. So our first thing we're going to do is outline a D minor 7th arpeggio going up to the 7th. And we're going to resolve that to the 3rd of the G chord. Again. Okay, let's look at how to transpose that. First, let's look at it as a simple 2-5-1 in the key of C. So we have resolving to C. Okay, we could also look at it as a turnaround, as for example, a 3-6-2-5-1 in the key of B flat, as in this example. D minor 7, G, C minor 7, F7, resolving to B flat. We could also transpose just ascending by the cycle of fifths like this. D minor 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat minor 7, D flat 7, etc. through the cycle of fifths. In order to cover all 12 keys, you're going to need to take that up a half step. So start on E flat or D flat. So you do E flat minor 7, A flat 7th, D flat minor 7th, G flat 7th, B minor 7th, E 7th, A minor 7th, D 7th, etc. That will cover all 12 keys. You may also descend chromatically by half steps like this. D minor 7, G, D flat minor 7, G flat, C minor 7, F, B minor 7, E, E flat minor 7, E flat, etc. descending chromatically. You may also ascend chromatically like this. D minor 7, G, E flat, A flat, E, A, etc. You may also descend by major chords, or resolving to major chords through the cycle of fifths, like this. D minor 7, G7, C. Now, G minor 7, C7, F. Continuing on, we'd have C minor 7, F7, B flat 7. You could remove the one chord from that progression and just go D minor 7, G7, G minor 7, C7, C minor 7, F7, F minor 7, B flat 7, etc. through the cycle of fifths. Let's look at some other ways that we can elaborate on this flat 7 of the minor chord to the 3rd of the dominant chord. Simple way would be simply to reverse the direction of the D minor 7th arpeggio, descending from the flat 7th like this. So looking at that in a turnaround, we might do D minor 7, G7, C minor 7, F7 to B flat like this. Again, take that through all transposition possibilities. Another way to elaborate this progression would be to start on the root of the minor chord and get to the 3rd like this of the dominant chord. Again. Of course, you can always do this in all registers of the instrument, down an octave. Okay. thumb position. Explore all registers of the instrument for these ideas. You get the most out of them that way. Okay, next we'll go from the fifth of the minor chord. Again. This can be varied by omitting a note. 1. 1. Okay, let's continue on. We'll descend from the fifth of the minor chord. Again, from the fifth. Okay, that's a number of ideas. You can continue to develop more of your own. Let's look at what to do when we arrive at the third of the dominant chord. A simple thing to do to resolve, we're going to resolve these to the 1 for now, and then we'll look at some other ways to resolve them. So let's resolve to the third of the 1 chord. In this first example, we'll just simply descend down the C scale from the third of the G to reach the third of the C. So the whole thing is, okay. Again, transpose this in the different ways that I showed you, covering all 12 keys. Common alteration on this line is to flat the 9th on the way down. You have third, flat 9, root, flat 7, resolving to the third of the C chord. Displacing this idea is very effective, so you can have this idea displaced. Could be, all right. Another thing you could do is resolve to the fifth of the 1 chord. Let's look at a couple of examples for that. So from the third of the dominant chord, we're going to resolve to the fifth of the major chord. Again, this displaces very well by an octave. Let's look at how we might combine 2 of our ideas. Let's look at this for the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we reach the third. We're going to use the octave displacement and use the. So the whole line looks like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, that's a great line to transpose. There are a variety of keys in in B flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, resolving to the fifth. That's one possible combination. There are many available. Let's continue resolving to the fifth from the third. We can do this, which incorporates the flat 13th. So we'll go up the minor arpeggio and descend. Okay, that's a good one. One variation on that particular line that is very common is to resolve the 7th of the minor to the sharp 9 of the dominant, a slight variation on the line I just showed you like this. Or another application would be to descend the arpeggio. Okay, that's just a slight variation going to the sharp 9. Let's continue with one or two more ideas to resolve to the fifth of the minor chord. Our next idea will be to ascend the notes of a G diminished 7th arpeggio from the third of the G dominant chord to B, like this. Okay. Now when I reach the third of the dominant chord, I'm going to outline diminished 7th chord to the flat 9, resolve to the 5th. This could be, of course, displaced by an octave. So you can do that on your own, or you can bring it down here. You want to try that in all registers of your instrument, of course. Okay, let's look at resolving to the 5th one last way. This one uses a substitute chord, which will be a dominant 7th chord built a half step below the chord of resolution. We've looked at this before. In the key of C major, this would be a B7th. So we're going to descend, minor 7th arpeggio. Now we're going to outline a B7 from the 3rd. So we have a slight delayed resolution from our flat 7th to our 3rd. Again. In a different key, in B flat. Okay, there's a lot of ways to explore various substitutions. We're going to get more into that as we continue on. One last resolution, we're going to look at using a G augmented chord to resolve to the 9th of the major chord. So from the flat 7th of the minor 7th chord, when we reach the 3rd, we're going to descend a G augmented. That will resolve to the 9th of the C chord. Okay, kind of screwed that up there, but you get the idea. One more time. Okay, all octaves, all keys. Okay, that concludes our rather in-depth exploration of the voice leading from the flat 7th of the minor chord to the 3rd of the dominant chord. I've given you quite a few options. The key is to practice combining different permutations, different combinations of these ideas using the transposition cycles that I provided. In the next lesson, we're going to look at some other voice leading ideas that you can use to develop 2-5-1s with a harmonic rhythm of 2 beats per chord. All right, that concludes this lesson. Stay tuned for more jazz bass secrets. Thanks.